Hi ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SA Accounting Academy. Here's a short clip on one of our previous webinars. I hope that you really do enjoy it.
Good day ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the South African Accounting Academy, a warm welcome to the monthly compliance and legislation update. You'll notice that this is the first time that we are now doing a bi-monthly update. Remember last month we had an ad hoc webinar on insolvencies, and this month we're covering, even though it says March, we are covering the period for January and February. Right, so January and February's changes are all coming through. You'll see we've got new slides as well. New year, new slides. So let's quickly go through and we see. Right, just so that you see, that's our compliance and legislation update to help you to stay up to date with everything that changes. All right, and there were quite a couple of changes, especially on the tax field. That's me, that's my name. About SAAA, just some background reading for you if you want to know. All right, you know what we do and what we're all about. Our CPD policy is compliant with the IFAX IES 7. And remember that you can claim your CPD afterwards. We've got SAAA rewards because as a CPD subscriber, you've got access to various rewards. Go to the My Rewards, find out more under your profile, and then you can find out all about that. I mean, who doesn't want free stuff? All right. There are our reward partners. That's just a little bit more background about me, a little bit more of a, what do they call it, a biopic? I almost said biopsy. Biopic or whatever, a blurb. Apparently it's marketing blurb. But that's what I am, who I am, what I do, and so forth. So then let's move on to the next one. In terms of webinar housekeeping, remember that the webinar material and the source documents that we deal with will be uploaded to your profile after the webinar. Right. It's usually a good idea to check it normally by the next morning, but you can check later in the afternoon, like immediately after the webinar. It probably won't be up yet, but it's a good idea to check by late afternoon and definitely by the next day. So while we're on that subject, let's quickly refer back to our webinar material and the source documents. So let me first of all show you. You'll see there's the monthly material, our webinar material, and the webinar material will be given to you in a PDF format. You'll see it's 50 pages, very, very detailed index page, context page, 50 pages, and everything, all the details have been summarized for you here. Where necessary, I have made reference to the actual documents, and I'll be referring to the material with you quite a couple of times so that you can see what it looks like as well. Right. Then we've also got our source documents. Here are the source documents that you see. And the source documents this month, there are plenty. There's 65, right? And these are without the court case files, the tax court case files. Those ones I have given you the links to, so you're more than welcome to download those. All the links are available in the webinar material. But so this webinar material and the source documents, I will be referring to as the webinar progresses. You need to make sure that it's up, well, we'll make sure that it's uploaded to your profile, but you will refer to that afterwards. All right. I will put this into a zipped folder for you so that you can just download the zipped folder instead of all the 65 separate documents. It's a little bit easier. All right. So those are the ones that we've got. We've literally got our webinar material, which we'll be referring to, the slideshow, which you should already have in front of you, and that's it. Right. So let's get back to our slideshow. The webinar recording as well as the presentation, that will be available at the end of the webinar on your SAAA profile. Okay, and then if you don't know how to access your profile, there are the detailed steps. Remember that we do have our tech specialists online as well. So if you have any housekeeping issues or you experience any sound problems or anything during the webinar, please feel free to just go through the chat options and you will be sorted out. All right. Well, not you will be sorted out, your problem will be sorted out. Claiming your CPD hours, obviously at the end of the webinar, I do 10 self-assessment questions which you need to go and answer. And after that, you can then go and claim your 2 free hours, or not 2 free hours, your 2 hours of CPD. All right. So that will be uploaded as well. That's all sent to you. There's the Claim My CPD option available under the CPD tab. You can go and download your certificate from there for your records. That's just our normal disclaimer, just to know that we've got copyright of the material. At the back of the webinar material, you'll see as well a little bit more detail on that. But yes, that's what we've got. Remember that you can ask questions during the webinar. On your right-hand side of the video or the presentation on the screen, you'll see that there's the chat sidebar or the chat log. Go to the dialog box. Feel free to ask your questions during the webinar. What I'll do during the webinars, I will try and answer them during the webinar as well. I then also make a Q&A summary, as you see here. And the Q&A summary, what I do is I will discuss that at the end of the webinar. We'll add on any new questions that I receive afterwards, and then that is normally uploaded to your profile as soon as all the answers have been documented. Right, sometimes there's a little bit more follow-up to do. Sometimes it's immediate after the webinar, the questions are done, the answers are done, and that's also then uploaded to your profile. All right. So that's the housekeeping. Let's have a look at what's on the agenda. All right, it's almost like what's on the menu, but we won't be eating. On the agenda for this period, we've got one under accounting updates. Even though it's one item, it is the accounting update, the IFRS summary for 2 months. Under auditing, nothing new. Under regulator, under URBA as the regulator, there are new items. But under the auditing update, in terms of standards and guides and stuff, there's nothing new. All right. Under company secretarial, there are 5 new notices this month. They did have more notices, but yeah, so they've got those are the notices that we've got. Under employment law, 1 important item there. Under other laws and regulations, we have 8 items this month. Right, under taxation update, you'll see we've got 24 items plus 20 court cases. So the 24 items are things like guides and interpretation notes and things like that. And the 20 court cases, what I've done with that, in your webinar material, you'll find all the summaries with the links to the actual case files. Right, so I'll show you that. You'll see that with the new format of the slides, at the beginning of each section, I actually give you a little breakdown of what you can find within that section. So our tax updates, even though quite large, it's not our most important section. All right. There's one very important one under company secretarial, one very important one under employment law, and then another very important one under regulator news. Under regulator news, we've got 18 items, and the regulators here range from SAICA to URBA to the CGSO to the NCC to the companies tribunal cases, and even to SARS as well. The media releases that are not guides as such, the media releases, the press releases are under regulator news, and the guides and everything will be under the taxation update. So the top ones are the technical updates, and these are more the newsy items. And then under general announcements, just the 1 item this month. Then the quote that I've got, it is unknown. I've heard this a lot, and I do know that there's 2 more things, death and taxes apparently, that you can be sure of. If you ask some of the tax fraudsters that have been caught, they will definitely tell you that they used to think that taxes was not one of the sure things. But the one thing you can be sure of is that things will change. And I think those of you that are listening from your remote stations at home, while we're in the lockdown now, you know that things will change. And we are doing our part as well to play a very important part in making things change so that we can combat this virus. All right. But this refers just to change in general. Let's get started on our accounting update, and you'll see on the first slide, I always have now this little box or the little contents that says the following items will be dealt with in this section. So what we've got is we've got the IFRS bi-monthly news summary, and I've done that for January and for February. So let's get stuck with into the January update. 4 items there, and where I need to, I give you the most important items under that. There's really just one important item from January that I wanted to bring to your attention. The IASB has clarified some requirements for classifying liabilities as either current or non-current. All right, and that it's no new requirements. There's no new requirements. It's just a clarification.
I hope that you enjoyed that video. For more of our webinar videos, go to www.accountingacademy.co.za. Thank you and have a lovely day.